Welcome to Dorking Out. My name is Sonia Mansfield, and my face really hurts, Richard. Not here, but right here. Joining me is my podcasting sister from another mister and the co-host of Dorking Out, Margo D. Hello, my friend.
Hello, my friend. Don't mind me. I'm just ordering from the Cluck Bucket on my Caviar app. Should be here any minute. Helen's putting it together for me.
You got it. Got the shrimp cocktail.
I need a pooper scooper for this.
It's so gross. We are dorking out about 1995's Tommy Boy. I believe this was a request by multiple listeners, including my sister, who's been asking for this one for a while. It's written by Bonnie and Terry Turner and Fred Wolf, directed by Peter Siegel, and it stars Chris Farley, David Spade, Bo Derek, Julie Warner, adorable, everybody drink, Dan Aykroyd, our old man crush Brian Dennehy, and Rob Lowe.
R.I.P.
I know, R.I.P. And uncredited Rob Lowe. He's so good at playing dicks.
He's okay. Well, we'll talk about it.
Yes.
He's fucking hilarious in this movie.
He is. Did you see this movie in the theater?
No, I did not, because I just looked at the date, March 31st, 1995. That's when this came out.
Yeah.
I moved to New York that week. That's the week I left. I left on my birthday, the 29th. Everybody write that down, March 29th. That's
March
my
29th.
birthday. But
you were busy.
I was busy, but I know I caught it like when it was on VHS or something. Like I rented it right away as soon as I could.
Yeah, I saw it in the theater and it played at my movie theater. And so I've seen Tommy Boy more times than I would like to admit to. I have it memorized because, spoilers, I really like Tommy Boy and it played at my theater for a long time. And I would just go into Tommy Boy all the time and just watch like 5-minute chunks, and it would just make me laugh always. It still does. I still literally laugh out loud. It's got chunks in it. It's so good. I think it's really funny, and I know that they're not doing anything groundbreaking here, right? Like it's all Bill and Ted, Wayne and Garth, dopey buddy movies.
It's planes, trains,
and
automobiles. Let's be very clear. That's exactly what we're doing here.
Yes. There's nothing in here that is surprising or innovative in any way. But I think Chris Farley is one of my favorite SNL cast members. I understand he's an acquired taste for people. I think Farley is hilarious. He always made me laugh on SNL. And I think him and David Spade were had such great comedic chemistry that
yes.
Every scene they're in, just their little stupid one-liners to each other. Just, does the suit make me look fat? No, your face does. Like all of that. And there's a lot of fat jokes. And if that's not your jam, then this movie's not for you. But it makes me laugh stupid hard every time.
Yeah.
How many times have you seen it? Do you think you could count?
Not as many as you. No, I'm sure. Yeah, I've only seen it a few times. I mean, I like it fine. I like certain scenes a lot. I think there's a lot of filler here.
For sure.
I think there's 5 times they're singing to the radio. It's like,
you're like, I get it.
Really, guys? We get it. Do we have anything else that's but we should, it's just a simple plot.
Yeah.
But I have to say, watching it this time, David Spade's fucking hilarious.
He is.
He just drops those one-liners so well.
Mm-hmm.
He's so fucking funny. Whatever. It's the same part he played in PCU.
Yes.
It's the same part he's in. What was that? Just Shoot Me.
Oh, Just Shoot Me. Yeah.
Yeah. They're all the same, but that's okay. He's funny in every one of them.
Yeah. I thought his relationship with Farley in this movie, I don't want know what their relationship was necessarily like off screen, but on screen, Farley's such a big, lovable puppy, and David Spade is so jaded and snarky that they're just such a good match. And rewatching it this time, I was watching it through a little bit of a different lens where I was like, oh, Tommy's so privileged, right?
Oh, yeah.
He's not book smart, which, as David Spade says, waved bye-bye to you a long time ago.
He even yells at him at one point, like, you're some rich kid
Yeah.
who gets a break right away. And he's right.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, why shouldn't you have an office with a window? You've been here 10 minutes. Like, you know, he is so privileged. And, but he is, Tommy Boy is, he's a good person. Like, he is privileged. I don't know if he necessarily knows how privileged he is, but he is a good person who wants to do the right thing. So you can't help but kind of root for him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and let's say, well, and he, you know, Chris Farley passed away just 2 years later.
I know.
Which is so freaking tragic. But they were best friends and they worked together at SNL.
Yeah.
And you could kind of tell like that, like you said, their chemistry, their comedic chemistry is just so perfect. Like they just know how the other one works really well.
Yes. I quote this movie all the time still, especially, what'd you do? And when I was pregnant, I loved to do a fat guy in a little coat. I used to like cram back into like my own little coats when I was like 9 months pregnant and like spin around the room and be like, fat guy in a little coat. And my husband at the time had not seen had not seen Tommy Boy, and honestly that should have been a red flag.
Red flag on the play.
Red flag.
You don't know you don't know Tommy Boy? Fat man in a little coat.
Like, if they don't get it, I'm like, maybe that's just not the guy for me. That's okay. Some movies are like your what do they say on the Pure Cinema Pod? They call it the your handshake movies. I'm like, maybe Tommy Boy is a handshake movie for me, and I just don't know it because it should have been a red flag. So this movie, Tommy graduates from college after 7 years because a lot of people go to college for 7 years. Yeah, they're called doctors.
Just so many great one-liners.
A comedy with jokes. Imagine that.
Yeah, exactly. Not all improv. Yeah.
Yeah. So Tommy comes home from college. His dad immediately wants him to start taking on responsibility, and it's a family business. So he, sets him up in an office, and Richard, that is David Spade, is Tommy Sr.'s like right-hand man, and he wants to pairs them up, like, take care of my boy Tommy. Also, Tommy Sr. is getting married, and we meet his betrothed, and it's Bo Derek. She's a 10.
The Bo Derekiest she's ever been.
Yeah.
She's bodacious.
She is. She looks so good. She looks great.
She got the part like 2 days before, too, she said.
I think there was a lot of that going on in this movie.
Yeah, I was just saying that she looks perfect. Like she's just ready to go. Yeah.
So how much do we love our old man crush Brian Dennehy in this movie?
Oh my God. He's just adorable.
He's adorable. Everybody drink.
He just is. He's just got that gleam in his eye. He looks like he could be the father of Chris Farley.
He totally does. It's such good casting, and we've talked about Brian Dennehy on the show before, just because we're fans. We love Brian Dennehy, R.I.P. Like, whenever he showed up in things, I'm like, I'm here for it. And I felt like, I don't know if Brian Dennehy got to do comedy very often, and he's really good in this because he's the heart. He
also is like the one with the twinkle in his eye. Yeah, usually. Like in Cocoon?
Yes, literally.
Literally. We have to do Cocoon, by the way.
I'm like, I'll write it down. I'm going to write it down right now. Cocoon.
Because that's a movie to discuss.
Yeah.
But he's great. And so Bo Derek, who's, if you don't know the joke, she was in a movie called 10.
Yes.
And that's what like sent her off into the world. And she actually wore cornrows, which became a thing before. Nowadays we would say it's cultural appropriation, but it was just, but that was her big role. And she was married to a much older man. So John Derek. So it was like she usually played like the hot young thing.
Yeah. There's two things problematic with 10. One, her cornrows. Two, they were trying to make Dudley Moore a sex symbol.
Oh, you don't find him sexy?
No. No, I don't. So
we'll talk about Arthur one of these days.
Yes, we will. That is definitely on our list. You texted me when you were watching Tommy Boy to remind you to tell the story about how you met Bo Derek.
Yes. So I was working at Modern Bride magazine, and this is like 2009, 2010 maybe. And we had something called, it was really fucking stupid. This magazine doesn't exist anymore, so I could say it. It's a really stupid idea. And it was, our editor-in-chief was like really, because they have like the Glamour Women of the Years. It's Condé Nast magazine. So the GQ Men of the Year, they have the Glamorous Women of the Year. So all the editors were trying to make their yearly award and have celebrities come to it. So this is Modern Bride magazine, like a low circulation, like who even cares? And our editor-in-chief's like, we're going to do the 40 trendsetters of the year. 40 in the bridal industry.
See, that's weird. Seems weird.
It was like 30 or 40, but it was like a really large number. I'm like, how many could there possibly be? And then, okay, let me guess, Vera Wang. You know what I mean? Like there's just certain ones. So she had a budget, and she had a budget for a band, and she wanted to make sure celebrities came. And so it was, somebody convinced her, and it had to be like the model booker who was always making, deals like, if you book this model or if you book this person, then we'll give you that person later. And I think that was the deal. But we got John Corbett's band, John Corbett, the actor.
Adam Risky would be so excited.
I think I told Adam this story, but so John Corbett, and so he shows up, and the biggest stars we got were like Katie Lee Joel, when she was still married to Billy Joel, and Susan Lucci, who was amazing, and a couple of other people. But John Corbett's band was our band, and John Corbett was dating Bo Derek at the time. They're married now.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. They've been dating since then. I mean, early since then. And so they got the band's equipment, and it showed up super late. Like it didn't get on the plane on time. So it was this whole thing getting it to the event. But everybody was kind of like, he was, nice enough. John Corbett, he was cool enough. But Bo Derek, like everyone was just like, as soon as she walked into the room, they're like, oh, and the office assistant just turned to me and goes, who's that? And we were all like, that's Bo Derek.
You're fired. You're fired.
Yeah, exactly. But she was like 22, 20 years old, 23 years old. She didn't know. Anyway, but she's gorgeous. That's my story.
Well, I did not know that she was married to John Corbett. That makes me...
You didn't know that?
No. How did I not know that?
I don't know. Yeah, they've been together for a long, long time.
Well, lucky her.
They look great together,
She gets to listen to that voice.
Oh, we all know the John Corbett songs, don't we?
Yeah, I'm always listening to them.
IMDb it, kids, if you don't know who we're talking about. I just remember I was the DJ on Northern Exposure.
Yes. So in this movie, Bo Derek is marrying Brian Dennehy. Lucky Bo Derek. She gets to make out with Brian Dennehy and Rob Lowe, who is playing...
I'm jealous.
I'm jealous.
I'm dead serious. Yeah.
He is pretending to be her son.
Which she had in the 8th grade.
I guess.
Okay, but I'm not judging.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, but the truth is they are lovers, and they are trying to scam Tom Sr. out of his money. And
I think they're married.
Yes, that's right. You are right. It's gross, and in that you think they're supposed to be mother and son, and then they have this really inappropriate relationship, and then it is revealed that they're together.
They're married.
Yeah. But I get it, because he's Rob Lowe. He's hot. He's so good at playing a prick.
He could maintain. I don't know if he has like a trick to like not laugh when people are doing really funny things around him, but he keeps his cool. The very first scene when they're in that bus and the kid is making the blow face on the window, he just punches the window. It cracks me up every single time.
He gets the shit beat out of him in this movie. Like,
yeah,
he's like, he pees on an electric fence. He like. A Doberman Pinscher like mauls him, like, and as the movie progresses, he's getting more and more beat up. He's wearing like bandages all over, and
he's so handsome though.
He's so
that it's
handsome.
Like, yeah, you're just like, okay, whatever, Rob Lowe, you're still hot.
Yeah, But Chris Farley, Tommy Boy, is really excited that his dad is getting married. He's finally, he's going to have a brother. He's like, brother's got a hug. Like, he's so excited. They go cow tipping. Why not?
And then he sprays him.
Yeah, and he's a maniac. He's so
Did you eat paint chips as a kid? Yeah, why?
He's like, why? It's so funny. And then after that, we get to meet adorable Julie Warner. She's so cute.
What's the movie she was in? Doc
Hollywood.
I want to say Doc Holliday, but that's a whole other character we've discussed. But she's in Doc Hollywood. Yeah, she's adorable. What is she doing now?
I don't know. Here, I can look it up while we're talking. But she's really, really sweet in this. I really like her. And I think she's so sweet to Tommy, like because she sees like he's a good person. And I think her scene actually with her and Farley, where they're in the boat together, and these kids are like taunting them. Let's see. Her last thing was she was in something called Unbelievable, a movie called Unbelievable. I've never heard of it.
No.
And she has been on the show The Good Doctor.
Oh, okay.
So there you go.
There you go. Good for her.
There's a scene with her and Farley. They're on the boat. They're having a sweet conversation, and these kids show up, and they're like, hey, you need to lose 200 pounds, and you're, just making a bunch of fat jokes. And at some point, she stands up, and she says, like, your mothers will cry when they see what I've done to you. It's like such a fucked up thing to say. And then she's all like, sorry, I don't really know those kids, and I don't know where they sleep or something. And Farley's like, that was awesome. And I really like her in this. And she's wonderful. She is. And we get a really fun like wedding scene with Brian Dennehy and Bo Derek get married, and Tommy and him sing a song together, and it's really fun. And then he dies like at his own wedding. It's so sad. And it's
so sad.
I really do think like Brian Dennehy brings so much to that part, and it does hang over. It is the heart of the movie. Like everybody loves Tommy Sr. so much. It drives the rest of the movie. Like Richard is willing to, that's the David Spade character, is willing to go on the road with a buffoon like Tommy and try really hard to sell these brake pads because he really loved Tommy Sr. And everybody does. They want to save the business because they want to save the business, because this is one of those movies where it's like, we have to do the thing so we can save the business and save the town. But
yes,
but it's also because they love Tommy Sr. so much.
Yeah, there's a lot of those themes going on there. They have a very particular thing to sell.
Yes.
And they go to the markets in the Midwest, and they have a rival, Dan Aykroyd, who's doing a great Midwestern accent. Mm-hmm. He's doing his accent work and hair work.
Yeah, the hair's working overtime in this movie.
The hair's working great, yeah. And it's funny, I was reading the IMDb trivia, and they're like, they only had him for 2 days. I'm like, yeah.
That seems like it.
That seems about right. It's not that he's just doing his Dan Aykroyd thing. He's great. But he's the villain. He's going to buy out the business and buy it cheap. Mm-hmm. And so Bo Derek just wants to make quick money. She was just going to marry Brian Dennehy to bleed him dry.
Yes.
He dies on her, so she gets this business, but it's not really worth that much. And so somebody's coming in with an offer to buy it from them. And so Rob Lowe's like, let's make that happen. And Tommy Boy's like, no, this is the only job in town for people because the tire place closed. And this is my dad's business. I want to make it work.
And
so they go on the road.
Yeah, and if the business closes, it impacts the whole town. And then, as the old woman on the board says, and that's when the whores come in. And the whole room's like, oh, here we go again. And once again, it's another rando thing in this movie that makes me laugh, is that clearly every time this group gets together, that woman does and that's when the whores come in, and they're shaking their tail feathers. And her husband's like, oh my God, once during the war, I visited a prostitute. My life has sucked ever since. It just makes me laugh every time.
There's some weird scenes in this movie.
So many weird scenes. And I mean, Billy Madison came out the same year as Tommy Boy, and Billy Madison is like a Tommy Boy in that it's got these really weird moments where you're like, what the fuck is this? And
it's
I think,
a child man.
Yes. And a child. Yeah. And a man child. Like, they're very similar in that way. I think Tommy Boy has more heart to it, but they both have these like really surreal things going on, and I don't know, makes me laugh. It's
a mixture of like a road picture. You know, they are in a car going on the road, but then they have like these spasmic things. I forgot about the deer. They run over, they hit the deer, and they're both crying. And then
I've never seen one up close.
I didn't mean to. And then they put the deer in the back seat.
Yes.
And they're driving along. And this is also what's getting planes, trains, and automobiles. It's just, you know, but that's fine. But I like that shit, so I'm fine with it. I love it when the deer is not dead and it just wakes up and just starts destroying the car. That cracks me up too. I'm just like,
I love the way
deer.
I love the way David Spade talks about it too, where like they're going in to make their sale and there's the dead deer in the car, and Farley's like, what's the rush? And like, he's like, that thing in my back seat, it's not an air freshener, it's a rotting deer carcass. Like, we need to get this done and get back out there. And then of course it turns out the deer is not dead. I guess he was just sleeping, and destroys his car. And of course the joke is that his car was his pride and joy, right? He loved it. If you hold on to a car this cherry, and it is destroyed through the whole movie. Like, Farley destroys it instantly. Dude can't even put gas in a car right. Like, it's like
without the door coming off.
Yeah,
and then he puts the door back. So when he opens the door, he says, "What'd you do?
What'd you do?" My sister and I do that kind of shit to each other all the time. What'd you do? What'd you do, Richard? Anything with when you tag Richard on the end, we know exactly what we're talking about. But I do love that. We get, like you said, we get a lot of scenes of them singing along to the radio. There's
Superstar.
They're switching between songs, and they both really like the Carpenters' Superstar, but neither one wants to admit it.
But let's say this, that's one of the best songs ever.
It is. And I love it cuts to them and they're crying and they're singing along, and it's just really, there's just so many jokes in this movie, and the humor just works for me. I mean, there's a whole thing about let's see. They get into a fight at one point.
That is funny.
They pull over, and like the whole thing, like Farley gets out of the car and like comes around to Richard's side. Richard's like, "Oh no, mommy, the rhino's too close to the car."
He comes out and he calls him Papa Smurf.
Yeah, hi everyone, it's Papa Smurf. And then they fight.
And then they fight. Well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Okay, so there's another scene where, and this is from Vacation, it's Christy Brinkley.
Yes.
You know, is like chasing Chevy Chase this whole movie.
Yeah, it's hard to believe.
But there's this gorgeous woman who's skinny dipping.
Yes.
Like, because that's what women do, right? We just take off our clothes everywhere.
I wrote this in my notes. I was like, FYI, women do not skinny dip in hotel pools. That is not a thing.
Unless they're a real housewife.
Yeah.
Unless they're a real housewife, because they're trying to get a storyline going. But other than that, women don't really do that. But it's funny because in real life, the actress, both of them dated her at some point.
She's
so
beautiful.
Then they got fights about, she's insanely beautiful. Yes. Yeah, but they got kind of jealous about that. So they had a fight about that. And they had a fight about Rob Lowe. Did you hear about that?
No, tell me.
Okay, so I don't know which scene it was. Maybe one of the wedding scenes, but Chris Farley wasn't feeling well, and I'm doing air quotes, which means whatever it means.
Drugs.
So yeah, Rob Lowe and David Spade went out for drinks in like Sandusky or wherever they were to film the scene. And the next day, Chris Farley was so jealous that David Spade spent time alone with Rob Lowe that he said to him, "It's so." David Spade says, "I'm eating a tuna sandwich," and we're on break, and he comes over and goes, "How was drinks with Lo?" And he's like, "Shut up." And then he said Chris Farley takes the sandwich out of his hands and throws it on the ground. And so then David Spade threw his Diet Coke in his face.
Oh my God.
And they started wrestling each other. Yeah, they were telling this story. Like Rob Lowe and David Spade were telling this story recently. This movie had its 25th anniversary last year.
Yes.
So anyway, that was the gossip behind the scenes.
I did not know that was a thing. I'm like, come on, Farley, grow up. But
yeah,
he had lots of problems.
Unfortunately.
It's very sad. I love the scene where Richard kicks his ass, because you don't expect David Spade to be able to throw a punch at all. And he kicks his ass. And then how it ends with, ooh, prehistoric forest. And then they go into the diner, and that scene is so funny. Like the music choice is like, I'm sorry, so sorry. And Farley's so beat up. That's where we get the, like, my face really hurts, Richard. Like, right here.
It's fine.
Yeah, and then Helen shows up, and she's like, what's wrong with your face?
That was supposed to be Roseanne.
She probably would have done a really good job, too. But the woman they got, she's really hilarious. She's funny. Scene. Yeah, and I love it. That's like, the kitchen's closed. Are you sure? Let me check. Yes, it's closed.
If you've ever had to wait on people or deal with customers, you know exactly what that's like.
Yeah. And then this is where he discovers, like, how he can sell to people. Like, he basically talks her into, like, making him some chicken wings, and then he does his whole, like, Tommy one wingy. Like, I know another one that makes me laugh. But that's where he finds his groove, where he's like, I get it. Like, this is how you talk to people. And and then that's when they go back out on the road, and they start actually selling stuff.
Yes.
And that is ruining the plan for Rob Lowe and Bo Derek. So Rob Lowe goes to visit adorable Julie Warner in her office, and he screws up all the orders on purpose, and his shirt gets sucked into a tube because we need to see Rob Lowe shirtless.
We do. I was happy about that. But I love just the computer at the time, like, just like that was like high end. Mm-hmm. That But yeah, so he's trying to screw it up. Tommy Boy sells over 500,000, and think about that, 500,000 brake pads.
Yeah,
like, do they even have that many? But he does, and then they go to Chicago to interrupt the sale.
Yes,
and that's where. I mean, it's like there's all these machinations. Like they have the bomb.
Yes, there's this also it's a race to Chicago, and of course we get like a whole thing where they pretend to be flight attendants so that they can get on a flight to Chicago, and that's when we get like David Spade doing his like flight attendant bit from SNL with the
he's a big dumb animal, isn't he, folks? Which that does make me laugh when he has the thing around his neck.
And he's like, I'm dying. I can't breathe.
He stabs him with the pin. He takes the pin off that lady and just stabs him.
Farley's
he's funny as hell in this.
So funny. And like the physicality of Farley performances. I mean, we could just do an episode where I talk about how much I love Chris Farley. Like, Chris Farley's
you could do the Chris Farley show.
I could. Oh my God. Remember the part where Farley said awesome. He lived in a van down by the river? That was awesome. It was awesome. Farley made me laugh so hard on SNL that very often I would like laugh so hard I cried. And it was the one is Matt Foley, the guy who lives in a van down by the river. The guy who would come on the news and use air quotes all the time. I don't remember the character's name. That character made me laugh. Maybe I can't wash all the parts of my body and everything's in air quotes.
I liked him as one of the Gap girls.
Yeah, the Gap girls.
The Gap girls, which was a dumb segment, but it made me laugh super fucking hard.
Lay off me, I'm starving.
I'm starving.
his Chippendales with Patrick Swayze. Like, he was a very gifted physical comedian, and the airport stuff, the stuff on the airplane, he does this whole thing where he tries to change into his street clothes in the bathroom, and those bathrooms are tiny and it's uncomfortable to watch, but it's hilarious too. He was just so fucking funny. Yeah. So then there's the race to interrupt the sale, and I don't know, do they make it?
I don't know, Sonia. I had to watch it to the end because I wasn't sure how it was going to end.
I was holding my breath.
But they do.
Yay!
And Rob Lowe gets arrested because it turns out they're frauds.
Yes.
And then they arrest Rob Lowe, but not Bo Derek, who's committing fraud.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that works, and she's going to dinner now with Dan Aykroyd, so I guess I do like his, send that guy a bucket of champagne, use the ice to ice your marbles or whatever. And then he takes Bo Derek to dinner, so maybe he'll hire her a really good lawyer and she'll get off.
Yeah, she'll get him off. But
yeah,
anyway.
She will.
Wow.
Hi-yo.
But yeah, and then Chris Farley and he's out on the sailboat again with his dad's ashes, and anyway, it's very sweet. It's very sweet. It's sweet, and I think it did okay in the movie theaters, but it's really when it went on video, and then I think Comedy Central played it on a loop.
Yeah.
For 10, 20 years.
Yes. Definitely.
And there's just lots of great little scenes.
Yeah, it is a movie that it really just makes me laugh really, really hard every time. If I haven't made that very clear, but throughout this entire recording by quoting it endlessly. No. And no, could you do one more quote for us? It's just, it works for me.
Yeah, if you're in a bad mood, try it.
We were maybe not in the best mood when we got to watch this, and it really does. It brings a smile to my face, and it makes me a little sad too, because I don't know, we never got another really good Farley movie. Black Sheep was not very good. Beverly Hills Ninja has its fans, but none of them clicked for me the way Tommy Boy does.
He was supposed to be Shrek.
That's right.
He recorded like 80% of the dialogue, and then he died, and then they brought Mike Myers in, and he couldn't do his voice, and so Mike Myers decided to do a Scottish brogue. Donkey. So, which I do fucking love Shrek, I have to say.
I haven't seen it in a long time, but we could put it on the list. I know I want to do So I Married an Axe Murderer too, because I think that one would be super fun. Mike Myers loves to put on an accent.
He likes English and Scottish very much.
Yes.
I think his parents are from the UK.
Yeah, I think Farley was also supposed to do Cable Guy.
I can actually really see that.
It'd be a very different movie, I think.
I think it'd be better.
We did an episode on Cable Guy, if you want to.
That performance is disturbing.
It is, and it would have been a very different movie. Let's just, like, the Jim Carrey one is pretty dark, and I don't think Farley would have done that. It probably would have been lighter.
Fun?
Yeah, or fun. It might have been fun.
Tipping my hat on my opinion of Cable Guy.
I made a list of other movies that are SNL movies, either based on characters, or I would also say maybe SNL adjacent movies. Actually, most of them on this list are, you know what? I'm just going to do the SNL movies. How about that? These are all okay. So I'm going to move Caddyshack. You don't go on this list, Caddyshack, because you're SNL adjacent. Okay. SNL movies. The Blues Brothers.
Great movie.
So funny. Wayne's World.
Love it.
So funny. That's on our list. Maybe we'll do that one this time next year, because we'll space out our SNL movies. Superstar.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I love Molly Shannon too.
Me too. Same. Yeah. And that character on SNL is hilarious.
Mary Catherine Gallagher?
Yes.
Sometimes I stick my hands under my pits and then I smell them.
She's so funny.
Oh, Jesus.
So funny. By the way, the list kind of downhill from here. Coneheads?
No.
No. Night at the Roxbury?
No.
It's Pat?
No.
Ladies Man?
No.
Stuart Saves His Family?
Is that the first one?
Yeah, that's the Stuart Smalley, right?
I kind of like that one. I did at the time anyway. I mean, I don't think it's great.
Right.
But I think it's got some good stuff.
And I actually haven't seen this last one, and I think I'm going to get a lot of finger wags from listeners about this because I heard this one's actually funny. MacGruber.
Oh, it's great.
Okay, I'll watch MacGruber.
MacGruber's really funny.
It is streaming on one of our channels right now. I forget which one. Maybe Peacock. I forget. I will watch MacGruber. And then I had a couple that were just like adjacent to SNL. So it was like Three Amigos, Caddyshack, Baby Mama, Happy Gilmore, things like that. But
yeah. Do you want to hear about the top songs of 95?
I can't wait.
All right. Some of these are really good. Montel Jordan, This Is How We Do It.
Fucking love that song. I still love that song.
Do you remember the song Dion Ferris, I Know?
Yes.
Oh, I loved that song.
Such a good song.
Seal, Kiss from a Rose.
That's a really good song.
Super love it. TLC, Creep.
I love TLC.
Yep. Desiree, You Gotta Be.
Oh, that song was everywhere.
Talk about everywhere. Hootie and the Blowfish. Hold My Hand. Do you remember that?
You couldn't get away from Hootie and the Blowfish.
And I'm going to say at the time, I thought I was too good for Hootie and the Blowfish. I thought I was like, whatever.
Oh, for sure. I made fun of people for liking Hootie and the Blowfish.
And then somebody played me. They're like, I want you to listen to a song, and I want you to guess the band. And it was a live version of Use Me by Bill Withers, which is a dope-ass song.
Yes.
And it was Hootie and the Blowfish playing it live. It was amazing.
Their band name did them no favors because the lead singer is Darius Rucker, I think.
Yeah.
And he has a really great voice. He really does.
And they wrote catchy songs.
They really did.
I mean, yeah, they're great. And I'm sorry. And apparently they tour with the Bare Naked Ladies sometimes. I fucking go.
It seems like a fucking perfect fit to me. I used to love the Bare Naked Ladies. I saw them multiple times in concert.
All right. And their number one song of the year?
Yeah.
Coolio, Gangsta's Paradise.
Oh my! I had a neighbor that all he did was play that fucking song every day.
Were you in college?
All day long. Oh, every time I came home, as I walked through the valley of the shadow of death, I'm like, oh my God! It's not a slight on the song. I'm just saying, my neighbor was addicted to it.
Do you remember when Weird Al did his Amish Paradise? And it was Florence Henderson doing the Michelle Pfeiffer. And then a year later, I think it was at the Grammys, Coolio was winning for best song of the year. And somebody asked him about the Weird Al version, and he was furious. Yeah. He had no sense of humor about it.
Someone with Coolio's hair really should have a better sense of humor.
Take the money wherever it comes from, dude.
Yeah. I'm like, if Kurt Cobain can be fine with it, I think you can be fine with it. Come on.
Yeah.
I take it as a compliment because that's what it is. And Weird Al's fucking rad. And I won't hear any different.
And he's supposed to be the nicest person in show business.
Yes. I saw him in concert a couple of years ago where he did all of his songs that weren't parodies, like all his other ones. And Weird Al is super fucking talented. He can play a million instruments. He's such an entertainer. It was so fun. I had such a good time. Welcome to my Weird Al podcast.
My Hootie at the Blowfish podcast, where I'm playing their live album for people. I'm like, guess whose this is? No. I used to do that in my classes. Guess who this is? This is Hootie and the Blowfish. And people look like, yeah, they're popular, dummy. Of course they're good.
What else are you dorking out about? Is it Hootie and the Blowfish?
Use Me by Hootie and the Blowfish, yes. And then One Night in Soho. I saw it last night.
Did you love it?
I fucking loved it.
It's so good,
Edgar
right?
Wright. it's such a great mix of genres because I am one of those weirdos that likes 60s London, and I
Yeah.
totally have a very glossy image of it in my head.
Yeah.
And this just takes all of that and throws it on its ear. It's got amazing performances.
Mm-hmm.
It's scary.
Yes.
It's eerie.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't wait to watch it again. I think it's going to be one of those, like, around Halloween I'm going to watch it because I think it's a great horror movie.
I saw it too opening weekend, and I'm still thinking about it. I'm still thinking, and I'm like, how often does that happen where you're still thinking about a movie weeks later? And I also want to revisit, and I just love the mood of that movie, like the feel of it, and I can't wait to watch it again. It's really good.
It's great. And I don't know if do you get Apple Plus TV?
Yeah.
I'm starting to watch The Shrink Next Door.
Oh, how is it?
It's fantastic. It's Paul Rudd, Will Ferrell, Katherine Hahn, who's just...
Oh my God, that cast. Oh my gosh.
It's Casey Wilson.
Yeah.
It's got amazing people in it. And basically, Will Ferrell plays this guy in the 1980s who hires a shrink, Dr. Ike, which is Paul Rudd. And Paul Rudd's playing the bad guy. And
That's
the
funny.
New York accent's a little in and out. I'm going to say that. But basically, Dr. Ike insinuates himself into Will Ferrell's life because he's a really nervous guy, very insecure. And it's based on a true story. And it was a podcast that I never heard before. But it's supposed to be great. I think it was a Wondery podcast. And it's all about how this shrink really screwed up this guy's life.
Oh my gosh.
And it's really, really interesting. And I super recommend it.
All right. I will check it out. It's on my list. I wrote it down. I have been in full holiday mode here. So I've been watching holiday movies, and some of them are ones that have been out for a little while, but I've never watched them. So I'm trying to get on board with the Princess Switch, the one with Vanessa Hudgens. And I watched the first one, and I was like, what the fuck is this movie? The fact that there are 2 more of them boggles my mind. Let me just say, this first one, I'm like, have you seen any of them?
No. I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. Vanessa Hudgens is a baker in Chicago, and she signs up to do like a Great British Baking Show, but in this like other country. It's like Bulgaria or something, I don't even think it's a real place. I didn't look to see if it was, to be honest. And she meets like someone who's going to be marrying the prince, and it's her like identical, it's like a twin basically, but they may or may not be related. They never really say if they are. And they decide to switch places. So the princess is now living as like a normal girl, and the normal girl is hanging out with the prince, and they fall in love with different people, and there's all kinds of confusion, and it fucking boggles my mind that there are 2 more of these movies. I don't understand. I don't understand why we have a Princess Switch trilogy, basically.
Where is this?
It's on Netflix.
Okay.
It is... the first one is perfectly fine. I'm a little confused by it. But I guess what I'm dorking out about with it is the fact that there would be 3 of them. This is the thing. It kind of boggles my mind. But I do want to mention something I'm watching that's really great, which was also recommended to me and is on Netflix, and it's called Dash and Lily. And it's really, really sweet. It's these teenagers who are writing to each other in a notebook, and they're like passing the notebook back and forth. They have never met in real life, and they're just kind of falling in love and daring each other to go on adventures, and then writing about it in the notebook. And it's like a little comedy series. It's like 6 episodes. Each one's like less than 30 minutes. It's super sweet. I really like it.
Where is this?
And it is also on Netflix, and it is filmed in New York, and it makes New York look like a winter, like Christmas paradise. I think you would like.
Fucking great season here.
Yeah.
I super like Christmas in New York.
then I think you might like this. I think it's really sweet. It's really well done. I'm enjoying it. This was a recommendation from a friend because in one of the episodes they played the song Last Christmas by Wham, a song I super love, but apparently everyone else hates.
It's like that Christmas Time song by Paul McCartney, and apparently I didn't know everyone hated that song.
Okay, I learned that recently too. That everyone hates.
I like it. And then Mariah Carey's song, like I'm like, that's the best one of all. Like, what is the problem here?
Yeah.
And people get really upset.
Yeah.
Like, who's playing this shit?
I was in a little Zoom work brainstorming thing, and we were like gonna have some downtime, and so I was like, here, I'll play this holiday music, and I just put on my playlist and hit the first song, and the first song was Last Christmas by Wham, and like everyone was like groaning, and like they were like, I'm muting you until the song is over. I was like,
wow.
What? I was like, what? And everyone was
George Michael.
And I was like, that song's so wonderful. I love that song. And they were like, everyone hated it. And they were like, not only do you love it, Sonia, but it was like the first song you put on the playlist. I was like, because it's legit one of my favorite Christmas songs. I didn't know. I had no idea it was so hated. So
some people just don't like holiday music too.
This is true.
It's already a bar that they don't, they are already kind of have preconceived. Some people just don't like country music. Some people just don't like, jazz. It's like holiday music is its own thing. So it puts me, even though I worked for years at the mall and hated the holidays during, working at the mall during the holidays, I still love the music. So I don't know. I'm hardwired for it, I guess.
Yeah. And I like the Paul McCartney one too, but that was another one people mentioned where they were like, I don't like that one either. And I was like, you guys are weird. I don't get it.
You're fucking assholes. I mean, that's Paul.
So there's that. But are you watching the Great British Baking Show?
Of course I am. Did you watch it? Did you see it this week? Is
yes.
This re-week?
Yeah,
I was watching it last night. I watched it twice. I liked it so much.
I liked it too. And the finale is, I guess it'll be next week. And it's been such a good season. And this week was like a shocker for me of who got eliminated. I don't want to spoil it for people, but
no. I mean, I think he's a sweet guy.
Yeah.
He does sound like a Bond villain.
He totally does.
He really is.
Yeah.
I expect you to die.
Yes.
Eating this pear croissant.
The show, like the casting on the show is always like chef's kiss. It's always so, so good.
It's such a nice mixture of people from different backgrounds. And that one woman is so beautiful. I think she's going to win.
She is beautiful. Fact.
I could just picture her. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they're such every season. I'm like, is so great. And you don't want anyone to go home. You like everyone.
You love everybody. I like everyone. I'm not just objectifying her. I think but I could see her as a food star.
For sure. For sure.
They're all great.
And they're all super talented, and I just really, really love it. And this one hit me in the feels, like, because they're getting close to the finale, and that's I think the second to last episode might always hit me in the feels because someone is getting eliminated right before the finals. Everyone is so good. You really care about these people. You can see that they all really care about each other. And yeah.
They get close because especially now, well, it was always this way, but especially with COVID.
Yeah.
I think because they have to be around each other a lot more, in closer quarters.
Yeah.
And they're there the whole time. I think they get really close. But they're always like, when people, like if someone's done early, they'll run over and help somebody else. Like
it's so good.
It's so wonderful and collaborative.
It is. It's so good. And you can see like people, sometimes they talk shit on Instagram or whatever. And I'm like, you can't bake that well. Just shut up. You're using boxed mix. All right. Don't judge.
And
all of these people are good.
They're doing like 2 or 3 a day.
Yeah.
They're on camera. There's all kinds of like obstacles put in their way. Like you try fucking doing that.
Yeah. Seriously. Anyway, once again, super great season. I'm excited for the finale, and then I'll be bummed that it's over. And I'll have to wait like a whole other year. But we're
gonna get we'll get holiday.
Yes, I'm looking forward to those. I love them.
Yeah, the Great British Bake Off holiday specials are great.
If you haven't watched last year's one with the cast of the Dairy Girls, do yourself a favor and go back and watch it. It's fucking delightful.
And then see the Dairy Girls.
Yeah, because that show is hilarious.
Yeah.
Thanks for talking about Tommy Boy with me, Margo. Where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on social media at Brooklyn Fitchick, and my site is brooklynfitchick.com.
And if you like the sound of our voices, and I assume you do because you've made it this far, you can also find us at What a Creep podcast, where we talk about creeps, and then we end the episode with someone who's not a creep. Our episode next week is going to be Rex Harrison.
Sexy Rexy.
Woo! It's going to be we love old-timey Hollywood creeps. They are so fun.
They're so great, and I'm sorry it's late, you guys. I had a nasty cold this week, but
yeah, it's okay.
We got him next week, and we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna talk to the animals about creeps.
It's gonna be really fun. You could find me at thesoniashow.com and the Sonia Show on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok, and Dorking Out at dorkingoutshow.com. And you can find us on Twitter and sometimes Facebook, but it's mainly people complaining about our salty language. But if you want to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, we'll give you a shout out on the air. And if you want some stickers, and I actually do have someone who wants stickers who gave me his address, Margo, so I need to pass it to you.
Oh, yeah, please.
You could email us at dorkingoutShow@gmail.com, and we'll send you some stickers. They're super, super cute. So thank you so much, Margo.
Fat man in a little coat.